Lore Together is proud to be part of the Boss Rush Games Network. Feel free to find out more at bossrushgames.com/network. Hi, I'm Safi.
And I'm Mystic.
And this is Lore Together. This is the podcast where a husband and wife team go over all the storytelling, world building, and characters of video games. Because it's what we like to do together. We lore together.
Yep, and this is episode 152.
Our episode that will happen before Turkey Day in the United States.
Yes.
AKA Thanksgiving.
Yes.
So, AKA Indians and Pilgrims Day, as we were joking about at work.
Oh, jeez. No. No.
What's that for? Weren't you taught about Indians and Pilgrims on Thanksgiving, Mystic?
I was, and then I actually learned like actual history.
Oh, that was the entire joke.
Okay,
that was
good.
the entire joke.
If you'd like to write into us about this joke, you can do that in many different ways. Or about anything else. In fact, I'm sure we're going to get some feedback on this episode because we always get feedback on some of these franchises. Instagram, Blue Sky, Reddit, YouTube, Steam, and Discord down in the description down below. Or you can contact us via email at loretogether@gmail.com. And if you support the podcast, and we hope you do, you can do that in two different ways. First is 5 stars, thumbs up, whatever it is, wherever you're listening, we appreciate the support. The other way is through Patreon at patreon.com/loretogether, where you can pay a per episode pledge, that is per podcast episode, to get early access to those podcast episodes. You also get exclusive access to some Let's Plays. You get voting rights in our live Let's Plays, which Mass Effect 2 is wrapping up. Patrons are currently voting for what the next one is. By the time you hear this, we'll know what it is. But
yeah.
If you're not a patron, you're missing out on that vote.
We also have occasionally mini episodes or extra episodes.
Very occasionally we have mini episodes.
But also books.
Yes.
So
recently patrons were given a free EPUB at the kind of free. You have to beat the $3 level. You get all your other stuff, but you also get this bonus book, which is Safi's first novel in her trilogy.
Hidden Root, the first book of the Injured Tapestry trilogy, where you'll be following the adventures of Brave Keeley and Mage Rock as they serve what ends up becoming the last orders of an ailing king. And in the midst of that, trip over something that was broken in their world for eons and start the journey where they'll fix what destiny couldn't. So please read it if you get a chance. It's also available now in digital bookstores, and I believe you can finally get paperback copies because, man, did that take forever to get done. So patrons at the $3 level, our top level, because we appreciate you guys so much, got the first book for free. At the $2 level, you can get my sci-fi novel, Mother Revolution, a story about a single mother who finds in code the shackles of a hidden race of people, and essentially a lot of talking about, the ethics of artificial sentience, essentially, what we used to call artificial intelligence in sci-fi.
Buzzwords.
And then marketing execs ruined it for everybody.
I'm sure Spotify will transcribe this and put a chapter heading about artificial intelligence right here. Because
if you keep harping on it right now, yeah, of course it is. But anyway, so free books, mini episodes, all the other fun stuff is awaiting for you if you decide to be a patron on patreon.com and
/lore together.
/lore together. And now
onto the episode. Mystic,
I have no idea. Genuinely no idea what you've been researching, just that you did a lot of editing just now.
I'll give you 2 hints and you're going to guess it probably pretty quickly.
Okay.
We will get feedback on this episode. You have been in this franchise before.
Elder Scrolls.
No.
Oh.
What's the other one that those would be true for?
other ones? Elder Scrolls is always my go-to because of Aramithius.
What's the other one that we almost always
Myst?
get? Yes.
Okay. We're going back to Myst.
Yep. And this one's going to get a little weird because we have two overlapping storylines.
Okay.
So we have Uru, Ages Beyond Myst,
Okay.
which is also kind of Myst Online.
Right.
And we also have Myst 5, which takes place during the events of Uru, from what I can tell. We're not covering Myst 5.
How do they square that?
Not cleanly.
Okay.
Not cleanly.
Okay. Is this going to be one episode?
No, this is a two-parter.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, we're not even touching Myst 5 here.
Okay.
Yeah, Myst 5 is a future thing. But to make my life easier, we're going to cover these single-player aspects in this episode.
Okay.
Because Uru came out in two different versions. There's Uru, Ages Beyond Myst, and there's Myst Online. They both include the basic first part, but then Myst Online continues on past that and also has, multiplayer.
Right, exactly.
That said, there is still history to delve into, which is also very weirdly sourced history, as I can't find specifically where some of this early stuff I'm going to be talking about is taken from, as I haven't played Myst 5 myself in well over a decade now.
Oh.
And given that these details deal mostly with Yisha, it might be from there, and I just don't remember.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
the wiki did not have a source citation on it.
So, yeah. And you have played this before, so it's not entirely just like you scouring
I
the
have
internet.
played Myst 5, but it was back before I really cared about the stories.
Oh, interesting.
So
Were you just there for the puzzles originally?
I was there because Myst was a game I liked.
Okay.
And at this point, like when I played Myst 5, and I haven't gone back to Myst 5, but when I played Myst 5, it was, I like this world, but I hadn't I wasn't aware of a fan community really yet. I wasn't even online personally. We didn't have Myst Online. I had the
Right.
single player one.
Right.
We didn't have internet at my house.
That's
so
fair. That's fair. Yeah, I forget how new that was with the internet and everything.
yeah, this was early 2000s.
Okay.
Yeah. So after the events of Myst 4,
Yeah. So Myst 4, essentially when we've gotten rid of the bad sons problem for good.
well, we've gotten rid of both sons.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Like the bad
One wasn't bad. Or at least
Anymore.
one redeemed himself.
Yeah, one
Yeah.
redeemed himself. The other one was always evil.
Well, I honestly, we could go back, but I feel the one was manipulated by the other.
I feel there comes a point where you're an adult and you still make your own choices.
Fair.
Yeah.
But either way, so after the events of Myst 4, we are left with no real in-depth information for hundreds of years.
Okay.
Yeah. We've also left the stranger behind, the player character we've had for those first four games.
Yeah.
They are long dead. They are being only human, and from the 1800s, they're gone.
Dead. They're
Yeah.
dead.
Yeah. Whereas most of our characters are at least part Denis, so they have long lifespans.
Uh-huh.
Yisha at some point leaves Tomana.
Okay. Tomana, is that where we found her or no?
That's where we met her. Yeah.
Okay.
They had just moved to Tomana in Myst 3, and then we see a updated version in Myst 4 when we really kind of deal with Yisha as a kid a lot more.
Yeah.
But Yisha leaves for the Cleft. Because remember, Tomana is not an age. Tomana is on Earth.
Right.
So she leaves Tomana, goes to the Cleft, and then eventually goes down into Dunny, basically seeking purpose and direction, which, fair.
Okay.
Atris and Catherine are in Tomana alone, but at some time we do know that Catherine dies, which makes sense.
Because she's not Denis.
She is not Dunny. She is Rivenese.
Mm-hmm.
So we do know she dies of old age, but that still leaves Atris alone.
Yeah.
And basically he starts spiraling into depression.
He doesn't do well alone.
No.
No, he doesn't do well alone at all. And he doesn't do well with his own thoughts without somebody outside of him to be like, hey, stop it.
He's a rumination machine.
Exactly.
He begins to delve into ancient Dunni prophecies, which he had discounted them all before as prophecy is prophecy, it's not real. But now he's realizing that they fit his life. Of course, as with any prophecy, hindsight can make anything fit if you try hard enough.
Yeah, okay, Nostradamus. Like, seriously, same thing right there.
So, but he is completely alone in Tamana. He eventually leaves it completely, letting the desert reclaim it.
Wow.
And relocates to Relishan, where the Dunni are. Like, we heard about Relishan in Book of Dunni and Myst 3 and Myst 4. Like,
yes. Yeah, essentially the place where they're going to try to rebring.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Yisha's also completely alone in Dunni.
That's always very dangerous, honestly.
Yeah,
like,
she basically starts to hallucinate and begins talking to various animals and objects out of desperation for companionship. Basically, everything is a Wilson.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. One day, she meets Calam, Calam, a former Dunni guildmaster of writing who has returned to Dunni.
Really?
Yeah.
And this is after we've... So...
Waves of Dunni still Dunni still kind of return even after the what's called the first restoration when Catherine and Atris were trying to rebuild it proper.
Yeah, and then they found the kingdom that they were separated from and all of that.
Terhani.
Yeah. Yeah, which that name is still so on the nose. I'm still frustrated with it.
So,
especially because I'll mention this to you, Mystic, because you don't know and some of our listeners may know. In the current season of Critical Role, there literally is a character named Tyranny. And so now that I hear that word so much more than I did before, and then you say Tyranny, and I'm like, so on the nose.
Right.
Okay, moving on.
Oh, we're going to get more of that flavor today, too.
Oh, my gosh, it gets worse. Ah.
So, Calam and Yisha become...
Does Calam have a twin named Itty? Calamity?
No.
Thank God.
They become friends, but there's a great divide between them regarding the art itself.
Sure.
Now, Yisha does learn about the art from Calam, but Yisha is also her mother's daughter.
Yeah.
And questions the control and edicts of Dunni society.
Right. Like, yeah, this is a great tool, but why you got to be so elitist about it?
Yeah. And is also more free-flowing with her writing than Calam, who is more structured and constrained because guild master of writing.
Yeah. For those of you who haven't listened to the Book of Atris episode that we did years ago at this point.
I think it's episode 10 or 11.
Yeah, 10 and 11. The one thing that Catherine was, or Catron, which I always like trying to say her native name, because the only reason we call her Catherine is because Atris can't pronounce Catron for some reason, and that irritates me.
There's a great story on AO3 of her just trying to get him to listen, and something always comes up, and and he's like, well, why didn't you ever tell me? Like...
It's Catron. Like, it's been Catron. She said it right. She was with her own people when you met her. She said it right the entire time. Anyway, so the thing about Catron's talents that's really unique is the creativity within it, the ability to create things with the art that are extremely fantastical, but also still sustainable within the world that she writes. Because you can write a world that's like crazy haberdash and suddenly there's rubber ducks sneezing out of flamingos that end up making pyramids or something insane like that, but it's not going to be sustainable over a long period of time. And you have Catron, who is essentially able to write like waterfalls coming out of midair and other fantastical things, and they're sustainable within the world that she writes with the art.
Yeah.
So that's the only reason I mentioned. Now if you don't go back to listen to that, that's a huge thing of her talent.
Yeah, she like writes in a dream state almost.
Yeah.
She writes in a fugue dream and then it just is there on the page.
Yeah, it ends up with these crazy, beautiful, strange worlds.
Yeah.
You know, the kind of feeling that with with James Cameron's Avatar that everybody was supposed to feel instead of,
Yeah.
dancing with blue people.
Yeah.
So,
Although they originally fought against each other because of their clashing views on the art, they do eventually begin to teach each other their abilities.
yeah.
And in time, they discover the power of the Bahro, which is the Dunny slave caste.
Oh, no.
Now, also, I think I neglected to mention, I believe that the name Bahro comes from the Book of Dunny and is actually the name the Terni used for their slaves. Because you have the Relimia, I think, or Relima or something. Basically, the unseen or the invisible.
Yeah.
But they also have Bahro, which is Ba meaning beast or animal, and Ro meaning people.
Yeah.
I could not find Ro in the Denis dictionary, but Ba means beast and Bahro means beast people. So I think I'm right.
Okay.
Jumping the timeline a bit, this is also when the tablet that is part of Myst 5 is first discovered, but we're going to ignore that for now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yisha believes that someday Kalam would be the grower. Unfortunately, he is murdered by a mysterious individual who was later then destroyed somehow by Yisha. This is all just like from a journal entry. We don't have details.
I was going to say, this feels like you're glazing over this whole
We are
situation
glazing over this
entirely.
entirely, yes. And again, I don't know where this is sourced from. So if it's in Myst 5, when we get to Myst 5, we may cover it in more detail. But I just wanted to give you a timeline overview of the events between Myst 4 and what's going to be Uru.
Okay.
So, I don't know how this person dies, seeing how Myst is a non-violent. I can't actually say that. Actually, Myst has a ton of violence in its canon, just
Myst,
not in the games themselves.
Yeah, Myst does not have a lot of violence on screen when you're playing the game. The violence is previous implied, like colonialisms.
Yes.
So
wars, colonialism.
Yeah.
Piracy.
Horrible.
Like
there's some more. The books are dark, guys.
Yes.
Like Book of Atreus is the least dark.
Book of Atreus is the least dark, yes.
Book of Atreus, you're like, oh yeah, this is just like fantasy violence. I can deal with that. Then you get to the Book of Tiana, you're like, oh no.
Revolutions, plagues, marauders, yeah. And then you get to Book of Denis and
Book of Denis is crimes against society.
Yeah.
It's so bad. So yeah, be forewarned if you're gonna read into it.
also a plague.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. A huge
in both of them, plagues.
So many plagues. And yeah, they definitely do like leading on the plague plots. So I just want to
I can't imagine why isolated societies would be susceptible to plagues.
Who would have thought?
Maybe being isolationist is not the best idea for your
But I just
longevity.
want to warn it, because if like you're getting into, not that there's a lot of people just getting into Myst now because of how old it is, but if you're getting into like Myst and Riven because of the re-releases and everything, and you're like, the books sound like they'd be fun, it is not the same tone as the video games.
They're good.
They're super good. They're actually really good stories overall. But get ready for heartache. Just completely and utterly.
All right. So Yisha later learns from the Bahro themselves, basically their ways. Because they have a weirdness with the art that nobody else does.
Yeah, okay, so there's a slave caste that knows the art.
It's not. They don't write.
Okay.
We'll get there in Myst 5 because we don't. We're told the word Bahro a few times here. We don't know what they are in this game.
They're just some strange presence that might be the reason that Kalam was murdered.
Yisha often refers to them as the least, as in like they are the least of the Dunny society. Whatever, like the low caste.
We didn't talk about this much in the Book of Tiana either, right?
Because it was hidden from Tiana. If you remember, Tiana was the one who was like, no, we should go talk to the people.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, why? They're fine.
Oh, yeah, they're alive.
Yeah. So Yisha kind of inherits Bahro abilities and powers by living with them. Basically, she's like the Jane Goodall of the Bahro.
I'm gonna rewind that. Jane Goodall was studying apes who were not at the same level of intelligence. I don't want to assume that of the Barrow because they're
Fair.
supposed to be people. So if you're saying she does an anthropological like immersion process, I think that's fair.
Yeah.
But Jane Goodall was an anthropologist.
That is fair.
So Yisha is doing something that's much more human civilization focused. We're not going to dehumanize people on my watch. Mystic.
Was unintentional. I apologize.
I understand that, and also you're wrong.
But she also, through all of this, kind of begins to share their pain from their generations of enslavement.
Yeah, I mean, empathy's pretty deep, man. Yeah. And it's a very she comes from a very empathetic family.
Yeah. Finally, we have a concrete date again.
Oh, yay.
Almost 200 years later, in 1987, John Fighting Branch Lofton.
So wait, how long did Denis live again?
Long time. Like, we're talking a couple thousand, I think, for some of them.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay. I thought it was only a couple hundred or so, but no. Okay.
I could be wrong, but I swear we heard a couple thousand from a couple of the old ones. Back
Okay.
when
Good to know. Well, it explains why their class stratification was so solid.
Yeah. And so anyway, 200 years later in 1987, almost 200 years later in 1987, John Fighting Branch Lofton was the first person to discover Denis in the modern era.
Okay.
Together with wealthy archaeologist Elias Zandi, they explored the caves beyond the entrance to Denis throughout the late 1980s, finding their way to landmarks like the Great Shaft, which we heard about in Book of Tiana, and later into Denis itself. Now, when Zandi found the main cavern, he felt that he had somehow returned home and made it his mission to rebuild it. Yeah. Knowing that this would require considerable assistance, he began calling in favors from old friends and colleagues, including Dr. Richard A. Watson, who first joined Lofton and Zandi on an expedition in 1990.
Okay.
Lofton dies in 1991 in Denis. We don't know how. We do know that Dr. Watson feels particularly responsible for it, though.
Okay.
It is a bunch of ruins.
I invited you to a dangerous area. Okay. That makes sense.
In 1992, Dr. Watson and several colleagues traveled to Denis and later meet with Elias Zandi in the city. There, Zandi elaborates on his intentions for the restoration effect. He tells Dr. Watson that he wanted to restore the city to its original glory and re-inhabit it with people who call themselves Denis.
Call themselves Denis.
So there's this idea, actually, I don't have it in my script, but there's this idea from what I remember that the Denis did have connections to the surface at some point. That makes sense. And there are people who have a infinitesimal part of their genetic code is Denis. And
remembering where the cleft is and essentially where this tunnel is. Yeah. What part of the United States is it?
It's in New Mexico. It's southern New Mexico, right near the border with Texas.
Yeah. So there have been people who've been living around that area and trading around that area for generations, even before colonial powers created the United States. There's just been civilization there for thousands of years. It would make sense that some Denis came out and they're like, hey, this place is kind of great. How you doing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Elias Zandi wanted people to spread the word about Denis in the hopes that others would feel the same call that he did to return to the cavern, and he arranged for the journals left behind by Catherine that they found to be shared with the Miller brothers at Cyan, where they served as inspiration for the video games Myst and Riven, thus beginning the meta-narrative of Cyan and Myst. Basically, Myst as a series, including the novels, is a retelling of these journals from Catherine, and any changes to the games in subsequent releases are considered to come from a better understanding of the journals themselves.
Either a reinterpretation or finding more corroborating information.
Yes.
All that stuff.
Yes, this is why Riven changed so much between its two versions. We were able to piece together that much more from the journals. This gets even more in-depth as the events surrounding the development and release of individual games and their publishing agreements are all canon as well.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, literally when we get to the next episode, Ubisoft and GameTap are part of the canon in the Myst universe.
This feels wrong on so many levels. I don't know. It just feels weird. I get the meta narrative is interesting in a certain extent because the idea of secret societies, everybody loves a story like that.
Yeah. Basically, think of it as when we are playing Uru.
Yeah.
Think of it almost like, to call back to Dances with Smurfs, that we are actually there or controlling like we're not controlling a person who is there, but we are there.
We are the descendant of some
Yes.
distant Denis
Yeah.
who feels that this
that's why it's called Uru. You are you. So we're not the stranger. You are the one going into the caves. You're the one.
Oh yeah. This kind of reminds me of old movie Amistad, where they were trying to find somebody who could do the translations for the slaves of the Amistad when they were in trial, and it was literally just a pair of lawyers in the 1800s walking around a square where there were slaves and people of slave descent shopping and doing chores and stuff, repeating the like numbers in the language, hoping somebody would call out to it. And the way that like Spielberg does the shot is like they walk away and there's this person following it like that calls to me, like for some reason, and then you get an explanation why that guy is a good translator, but it felt so weird. Like this feels like the same thing of like suddenly like somebody's saying like then Denis da 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 da, and somebody's like, I suddenly feel called. Like it feels very awkward.
It's a little weird, but
It's a little weird. I get it though.
in 1984, a couple expeditions brought supplies and equipment down into the cavern. Zandy also spent a great deal of his time and money buying up thousands of acres of land around the volcano and the cleft, and therefore the entrance down into Denis. This is in Eddy County, New Mexico, which is also where Carlsbad Caverns National Park is, so make of that what you will.
Yes. A lot of caving happens there. A lot of people. I think there's at least a couple of stories I've heard where people have died caving in Carlsbad.
Yeah.
You know, that's unfortunately to be expected if you're going to do a sport that dangerous.
Yeah. By 1995, small groups of people were arriving in the desert claiming that they felt called there. Many were accepted as restoration volunteers. Late that year, Elias Zandy and his son Jeff got into what Dr. Watson referred to as a heated argument over the nature of the restoration. Elias saw it as a purely physical process,
Okay.
while Jeff argued that it required a spiritual renewal as well.
Huh. That's hard to recreate something that was stolen from you.
Right.
I don't know. Like, can you truly recreate it if you only know a guess of the architecture? I mean, and then the way science works in Denis and the world is not the same way it works. I mean, it's a little bit almost like mage punk. It's not just like steampunk-esque, you know?
Yeah, but if we're going out of universe discussion for a second,
Yeah.
the Earth is part of an age.
Yes, it is.
So the rules of that age allow for something like Denis to exist.
True, but I
So-
mean in the sense of if you're going to do restorations, how can you perfectly
Right.
restore it if you do not understand what essentially is the science of it, even though for us it would feel more like magic.
Right. That's fair. They part ways after this discussion, argument, whatever you want to call it, and remain estranged until Elias dies of a heart attack the following year.
Yeah, that's sad, but I get it too. When you realize there is a part of your culture that you don't know and you think you need to understand and reach for it, you know, there could be something very healing about spiritually in one way or another, like having a holistic connection of back to your culture. But I think the thing that makes it hard for me is like, it's similar to the African American experience in the sense of we were stolen from so many different cultures and then forced in proximity to each other. And the only way we've been able to heal is to have our own culture that we've cultivated with our peers and, you know, how it works. Whereas for Denis, like they haven't started that journey yet, and they have like there's not a real direct tie in the same way. Like there's nobody to steward them in at this point. Like how are you supposed to have that spiritual? I say spiritual, and I don't mean it in like necessarily the religious sense, but I think you know what I'm trying to say, mystic.
I do.
There's a subtext of your identity that you are trying to connect with your ancestral past. And if you can't read that subtext, you only get text. Like, how are you going to fill in that gap?
You need someone who was either there or knows people who were there.
Yeah. Or third option, you make your own subtext.
True. Following Elias's death, his considerable wealth was left to the Dunny Restoration Foundation that he had established to manage the restoration efforts.
Okay.
Fair enough. All that land he had purchased in New Mexico was left to Jeff.
Oh, okay.
Dr. Watson formed the Dunny Restoration Council, the DRC, in January of 1997 with funds from the foundation, and he staffed it with colleagues that he trusted to help him manage the operation in that same vision of we're going to do our research and we're going to build it. We're doing a physical restoration, and that's it. They make decent progress, and after a few years, the DRC launches a website in 2002.
Okay, which is part of, I'm sure, like an ARG portion
Yes.
of this meta narrative.
Oh,
okay.
yes. Cyan loves their ARG. The website does not exist. The .com just goes to like a back door of Cyan's website now, which I don't know if that leads to anything. Again, they like their ARGs. There may be some old ARG that still works with that. But
Feel free to like comment or email us and let us know what we're missing from that back door connection, so to speak.
yeah. For the first time, the general public becomes aware of the DRC, their operation, and of Dunny in general.
When you say DRC, though, I immediately think of the Democratic Republic of Congo. So it's hard to take you seriously when it's like, no, that's a real country, Mystic. You can't just be saying this.
It's what they call it.
I get it. That's what they did. They decided they weren't going to try to avoid that.
Now, as you expect for the era of the internet in 2002, the site contained nearly daily status updates about DRC operations, including safety warnings and other memos for travelers into Dunny. Also appropriate for the era of internet, they had forums, providing easy communication with potential visitors as well as others in the org.
Okay. Interesting. All right.
And I think Myst Online still has forums. I don't think anybody's been to them since 2015 because everything kind of just shifted over to Discord now.
Discord is so much easier. And now Discord has forum set up as well if you'd rather do that rather than a chat room.
For the first time, on March 21st, 2002, the DRC led a small group of authorized explorers into Dunny. These explorers were not members or workers in the restoration effort. Rather, they were visitors who were being given the opportunity to explore the areas that had been cleared by the DRC for public access.
Okay.
Keep in mind, they've continued having people show up saying they felt called there, and now they're just trying to vet people to give them clearance.
Yeah, so you're not a nefarious person going to try to steal relics to resell to the freaking museums that
Or
already
you
stolen
have
enough relics.
Modicum of ability when it comes to caving or
Like
exploration or
or like maybe you shouldn't be in the depths, but could you want to catalog some stuff? There you go.
During this period of limited public access, the DRC continues the restoration work with the goal of opening up the cavern to the general public without restriction in the near future. As time went on, however, small odd occurrences started happening. Tools began disappearing when left alone, only to later reappear in another place. Strange cloths with spiral-shaped hand symbols started to appear throughout the cavern and other ages.
With spiral-shaped hand
Yeah.
symbols? Interesting.
And they would reappear when removed by the DRC. Most strangely, a door with the same symbol was found in the Garden Age of Eder Camo. On September 2nd, 2002, a DRC engineer named Phil Henderson went missing on Eder Camo. The DRC initiated a 24/7 search for him throughout all the areas that he had access to. On September 23rd, so 21 days later, Phil briefly reappeared on Edderkemo, telling an authorized explorer that he was okay, but that he was not going to be coming back to the restoration.
Oh. Okay.
On December 9th, 2002, explorers who had not been authorized by the DRC to enter Dunny began arriving from the surface. In less than a month, there were over 100 of them. These explorers were being let into Dunny by Jeff Zandy with the assistance of Yisha.
Oh, I was going to say, when's she going to come back?
The DRC scrambled to provide neighborhoods from the stay-in, quickly expanding beyond Bevan to Surrett and then to other neighborhoods of similar design. Explorers told DRC members that they had received a special book from Yisha that took them to the age of Relto. Now, this thing with Jeff Zandy letting unauthorized people into Dunny is where we come in.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you play Myst online, you kind of just appear on Relto and then you go to Dunny.
Right.
If you're playing Uru, Ages Beyond Myst, the single-player game, and I think you can do this in the online one too, but you don't. It's not the default.
Yeah.
You appear at the edge of the property in New Mexico, and you make your way to a camper sitting in front of the volcano.
Okay.
Jeff Zandy is there, relaxing in the shade, played by David Ogden Steers.
Oh, nice.
He tells us she left a message for you, and we should listen to it, seek the journeys, and then enter the tree.
Enter the tree.
Yeah, it's cryptic as Myst always is. Yisha is obviously the she, and she tells a very abridged version of the history of Dunny. Basically, a proud city that fell to ruin and death and now breathes again. Fair enough.
Yeah, keep it simple for now.
She tells us that many seek the destination, but that we should seek the journey. And the journey is not just metaphor here. These are fragments of tapestry that litter the ages, 7 in each age.
Okay.
So we find the 7 journey cloths in the cleft area and then enter the giant tree that's in the cleft, finding a cave with a book for us, our Relto book.
Okay.
Relto we've seen in our streams, and basically it's a loosely minimalist interpretation of Myst Island, albeit in the clouds. You know, there's a mountainy area that slopes down, and on top of the mountain is the library. Much like how Myst Island was.
Yeah.
We never see... Relto is, we find out later, but we'll just talk about it now, is the first age written by Yisha.
Oh, okay.
And as with everything that she does, it's odd.
Okay.
We never see an age book for Relto.
Oh.
All we see is a linking book. But each explorer has their own instance of Relto.
So, almost like that the linking books are linking to specific mountains or islands or...
Yeah, but it's not, because they are all the same place. How and why this is possible is anyone's guess, but there's some thoughts that Yisha just understands the art in a strange way or sees loopholes that others don't, especially given her connection to the Baro, who themselves have a strange nature and with the art.
I was going to say this is the Baru. No. Bonnaroo. No, this is the Baro teachings. Yeah, the influence, yeah.
We have a few different avenues when we're on Relto to take. And there's a selection of ages we can link to. We're avoiding Dinny and the expansion content for now. That is later. Mm-hmm. We begin with Edderkemo and Eddergira, which are sister ages. Both of them are garden ages, and they kind of are interchanged. Like you get to the end of one, there's a book to the other. You get to the end of that one, there's a book back. So you kind of have to do them in tandem. And they are both garden ages, but they're wildly different garden ages. So garden ages are not what I would have thought, actually. So when I thought garden age, I would think place to get produce, place to get whatever, place for farming.
A resource area, yeah.
Which apparently is not what they are.
Oh, okay.
Garden ages are more like what you would think of as an English garden. A place for rest, relaxation, away from Dunny.
Okay. All right. Yeah. The hustle and bustle of an abandoned city.
Well, not when they were written.
That's fair. I'll give you that.
Ederkemo is a lush space enclosed by tall rock walls on all sides. It is segmented into a few separate areas, each of which hosts different forms of plants and animals. And there's a path that winds through the age in a horseshoe-ish shape,
Okay.
leading visitors through each part of the age before arriving at the linking chamber leading to Edergira. Now, Edergira is a volcanic scrap of land dotted with steam vents and a waterfall. A number of large fossilized bones are scattered around, and a series of interconnected dark passageways run through the rock. From the Lincoln location that modern-day visitors find themselves taken to, a large forest can be seen in the far distance beyond anything we could actually access in the age.
Oh.
In the middle of the forest are ruins. Now, we have no idea if these are Denis ruins or the original inhabitants of the age, maybe. We don't know. And then there's a link back to Ederkemo found near these waterfalls. Now, these two don't have a ton of story. They are just garden ages.
Okay.
The next age, though, Teloden, is a swampy bowl, essentially.
A bog, you mean, or?
No, bowl. It is swampy, boggish, like fair, but it's formed by a ring of steep rocky islands and mushrooms, just these giant mushrooms.
Okay.
And there's spores flying through the air and stuff.
Oh, man, my asthma would be killing me.
It appears to be near the polar area of the planet that it's on because the sun is just making a circle in the sky, like it never sets.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. The Lincoln portal is a small hut built inside of the base of a massive hollowed-out mushroom, and an elevator connects to the two upper floors, a factory floor where mushroom spores were collected for shipment back to Denis, and then a small office. Now, this age was actually a gift for the Lord of the Guild of Caterers.
Oh, interesting.
Who went by the name of Hinash, Hinahsh, Hinash.
Okay.
On his 250th birthday
Oh.
in 8,990 of the Dunny calendar. When Hinash died in 9,000,
Okay.
so 10 years later, control of it passed to the guild and subsequently guild captain Ventus. Now, Ventus began the industrialization that is currently seen in the age. There's a lot of like turn screws and buckets that are being led by machinery and stuff like that. After some amount of time, a man named Manesmo, Manesmo, bought the age and kept it in good shape, though he also began running an illegal slave trading operation in the age's underground tunnels.
Stop with the slave trading. Why are we doing this? What? Denis, can you learn from your mistakes for once?
Well, so here's the thing. This is partially, like, this was done away from the Guild of Maintainers, where they couldn't find that this was happening.
Okay.
And slaves were transported, but not entirely, because the slaves were from here transported to Rebek, which Rebek, from what I remember, I could be wrong about this, but I think it was like wild animals and like it was like that type of thing. But once all the animals are gone, they use it to basically force slaves to play games for attending crowds of Denis, much like ancient Rome. So,
yikes.
Yeah.
So much yikes.
Now, this still wasn't legal.
No.
So major inspections into this slave trade were actually just starting to be performed right before the fall of Denis.
Oh, wow.
So, you know, Denis falls due to a lot of its pride and a lot of its problems, but they were still like, no.
Yeah, no, can we not? Please. Illegal slaves and then slave fighting? What are you doing?
Yeah. Garrison is another age. It's basically the place for the Guild of Maintainers. Now, if you remember, the Guild of Maintainers are basically the police force.
Yeah.
So they're the people who catch criminals, but also are the people who inspect ages for safety and regulations and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. Basically, this is a place for them to work on new technology, new plans, and is basically a complicated fortress of towers. The age itself, outside of their compounds and towers, is lush. It's verdant, and there are small patches of trees and green sprouting up all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
The maintainers constructed their facilities in a valley close to several waterfalls that cascade down into a nearby lake. Weirdly, bird song echoes throughout the valley, although no birds have been directly observed.
Huh.
Yeah.
Weird.
So it's a weird one. The buildings in Garisan are designed to constantly rotate.
Okay.
Everything rotates. It's kind of maddening. The lighting is constantly moving around you because you're constantly moving.
Okay.
This is basically so it's impossible to write a linking book from within the complex.
Oh.
Which is great for security.
Yeah.
There's no way to get anywhere but the link-in point.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, all of the books that link to the age, so all of the books that are written for here, have to be like specifically written so that they're basically on timers.
Oh.
So that when you would link in, you're going to link in where you expect to be, not in another room, in a prison cell, inside of a wall. Like,
there's no puzzle here. You're just going straight to where you're going.
yeah. The first building, referred to as the Well, is mostly embedded within a hillside, and its rotation is driven by a large waterfall. This building takes its name from the Lincoln Point, which is a high-walled central chamber which is open to the air above. A series of, and there's like rooms looking down for probably guards.
Uh-huh.
A series of rooms around the central chamber include screening places for visitors as well as places to get your key.
Oh.
Which were distributed in the need times to authorized individuals. Now,
right.
If you play Myst Online, you get to Relto, you get to your cabin. There's a book. It only goes to one. There's only one book that goes somewhere. If I remember correctly, it goes to, I think it's Bevan, one of the neighborhoods.
Okay.
And you are very quickly directed to come to a pedestal, put your hand in here, get your key.
Oh,
because a key is how you take pictures. It's how you chat in the game.
Okay, that makes sense.
The second building is the training facility. This is built around a massive interior arena called the Wall, where trainers could manufacture harsh conditions such as heated, chilled, or toxic air.
Oh.
Teams of guildsmen use this wall for training in environmental protection suits, which almost handled walking into a supernova, if you recall the Book of Denis.
Yes, that was insane when you're like, oh yeah, that book is so old that planet probably is no longer here because that sun exploded. What?
Yeah. The roof of the training center served a very different purpose to all of this, though. It was a prison.
Oh.
A ring of small cells are buried in the outer wall of the structure.
Well, I guess you got to be multi-purpose.
Our last main thing we're going to be covering this time is Kaddish Tolesa.
Okay.
Which is dominated by gigantic trees, so much so that they have grown together into solid walls.
Nice.
Now, the trees' expansion also encroached on Kaddish's estate. Now, Kaddish is a prominent individual. We'll get to him in a minute. But this damaged many of the structures on the estate. Now, the explorable area of this age is located high up in the trees, and one area there is an overlook that provides a view beyond the trees. There is no ground visible from this vantage point. We are that high up.
Oh, wow.
And there is, like, the whole place is bathed in, like, purples and blues of twilight.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's
pretty
definitely
mystical.
It's definitely the most atmospheric place in
nice.
the base game of Uru. This place is also a giant vault puzzle.
Oh.
Due in part because Kaddish, a former guild master in the Guild of Writers, so Guild of Writers, very prominent in this society.
Oh, yeah, that's a huge deal. There's a reason why Gen was like, I'm going to be a writer.
Yeah. Was an adherent to the teachings of King Nagin, who encouraged his citizens to pursue material wealth.
Oh, prosperity gospel stuff. Okay.
And so basically, King Nagin basically had a secret puzzle chamber built into the guild council's chambers when it was renovated during his reign. So following in Nagin's footsteps, Kaddish constructs a lengthy and elaborate series of puzzles in this age to secure his own personal vault of riches.
Oh my gosh. Oh, Nagin, not to be confused with the Great Nagus.
Quark! Sorry. Completing each of these ages will get us into the Bahro door. Basically, when we get the journey clause, we get into the Bahro door, which will lead us to a Bahro cave. Inside that cave are 4 totems that we must transport to Relto.
Okay.
Then we must transport each one back.
What?
It gets weird. There's like a different sigil we have to remember for each
Is this
age
still
and stuff.
at the point where we were like padding games with unnecessary like steps?
Yes, no.
Okay.
Yeah, we're doing a thing here because Yisha tells us to, more or less. We must return what we have taken. But there's a reason. Once we have all these 4 totems taken back and like in the proper order to the proper place,
Okay.
we basically are told to head back to the cleft and retrieve another recording from Yisha.
Okay.
And basically all of this, she says, has freed one more of the Bahro back into Dunny.
Whoa.
Basically, these pillars correspond to a Bahro soul. So when
Weird.
so when we've moved them and like done this properly and stuff, we have freed one more Bahro. And at least that's my interpretation. She speaks in Yisha speak.
She speaks in riddles, it sounds like.
Yeah.
More so than even her parents.
Yeah, she does. She's very poetic.
Interesting. Okay.
We don't quite know what that means, obviously, but it's very clear that Yisha is trying to right past wrongs, regardless of how we interpret it.
Good for her.
She says the Bahro have a part to play in the restoration of Dunny. She doesn't quite know what that part is, but she wants them to help them have that part. She also has some ego. She actually starts talking about Relto, saying that only she could write it. This is beyond what the Dunny could accomplish. But given how much she talks about Dunny pride and how much we've seen Dunny's subjugation of, quote, lesser beings throughout the years,
Yeah.
she's probably not wrong given how much Relto breaks so many rules of the Dunny, and she did it with the help of what was considered to be the least of all beings.
Right. Exactly. So she has a well-earned chip on her shoulder because of it.
Yeah. She's the desert bird. Sorry.
What?
It's from Myst 5.
Oh,
Also,
okay.
I think it's from this one too. But yeah, they call her the desert bird. It's what Atris and Catherine call her and stuff.
I would not want my parents' pet name for me when I was a kid to keep.
It relates back to prophecy. Actually, it relates back to Dunny prophecy, but. I can't remember the guy. Escher is in Myst 5, and he talks about... Because you actually talk to people in Myst 5.
Oh, wow. You talk to people.
You talk to Yisha, and you talk to Escher, who is also Dunny. Also played by David Ogden Stiers.
Oh, my gosh.
And quite well, I might add.
No, I'm sure, but it's just funny to see the repeat.
Well, he does not... If you had not told me that Jeff Zandy was David Ogden Stiers, I would never have figured he was David Ogden Stiers.
Okay, I'll have to see this later.
But yeah, he talks about, she is the desert bird.
Like essentially, you guys couldn't see the gesturing of the futzing about is like, oh, she's so special.
Yeah. Then we get transported to the cleft where Yisha actually appears. Like, this is not a recording of her.
Oh, okay. So she has graced us with her mystical presence.
And then she does something that, according to her, only she can do, and I believe her. Somehow, I have no idea how.
She just disappear into thin air?
No, she makes it rain in the cleft.
Oh.
On command. Which means, and I'm completely guessing here, this is my speculation and my supposition. Please let me know what your guys' thoughts are on Discord, because I know you guys will. Those of you you know who I'm talking to. But I think that means somehow she has edited the age book for the age that the Earth is part of.
Keep going, but I have a different theory.
My reason for this is the last time we saw someone able to call rain on command was Gen doing it in the Age 47 book after he'd made it do that.
Okay, so...
But even then, since Yisha identifies with the subjugated,
I
don't think she's on a power trip. And I think she did it differently.
I think honestly, I don't think it's I edited it in real time. I think it's more, oh, I found this button and I figured out how to push it. Like, I examined the code, and did you know with this, it's like having the Konami code. She's figured out what the Konami code for rain is on planet Earth, and she just does it at a whim. You know?
Either way, it's surprising, and then she just walks away.
And then she's like, hope you're refreshed by...
And, yeah.
P.S. Don't ask for ice. That's harder.
Yeah. But she makes a big deal of it, like, you know, the thing my father would dream of and my grandmother would dance for. Mm-hmm. And it just starts raining. Like...
Yeah, that's true. He didn't see rain.
Until he was, like, 7.
Yes, when he was a kid, yeah.
So, yeah, that is where we're going to end it now. And then next time, we'll pick up with the online stuff, which includes all of the business machinations and also all of the content releases and all of that stuff.
Oh, my gosh. So...
Yeah, we're still solidly in what's called the second restoration of Dunny. There's 4 of them, and those we'll be covering next time.
Oh no! So many restorations, and there's
a lot. So there's a lot less to them. We have a lot more ages to cover, but there's a lot less like history to dive into. There's like 7 content releases and ages and stuff like that. So.
It feels like some of the guys who came here to Denis are just basically here for their selfish reasons. Like
some.
Yeah, I selfishly just want to rebuild it because I can say that I did it. I selfishly want to connect to this.
Looks good in a resume.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll put this on my LinkedIn. Yeah, I rebuilt a whole hidden structure underneath this cleft with mage punk magic that we didn't know existed.
Now, I do want to very hardly point out, Myst Online is still going. We've played it.
Oh, yeah, we've played it on the live stream. Some of you have seen us do that.
They have... all guild meetings. They just had one a couple weeks ago. Like, yeah, it's still a thing. People still play it.
Are we playing it this live stream, or are we going to wait for the next one?
I think we'll wait for the next one. I think for this one we're going to play the actual single player version, so we don't have to jump through hoops to get to Jeff Zandy and do all that stuff. And yeah,
and then. I'm going to look.
Assume we can get it to run. Uru is old.
It is old. I am looking up when our live stream of that will be, merely just because we have Turkey Day.
Probably the day after Thanksgiving, I imagine. Then
I think I'm trying to remember what I posted. Yeah, the 28th is going to be our first hour stream. We'll still have the cozy stream on the 25th. But then the 28th, which is a Friday, is going to be when we do our stream of Myst 5?
No, Uru.
Uru, I'm sorry. I'm getting everything confused. There's so many versions.
Yeah. Myst 5, when we cover Myst 5, it'll be kind of sad because unless Cyan comes out with something, that's the last one.
Oh. Oh. Yeah, it is sad. Going to convince Disney to figure out that island experience again. How dare they? Yeah, they're going to give basically what the heck is the Pandora planet a section in there. Oh, guys.
Which is just a jungle planet that like things light up with LED
Oh, look,
plugs.
here's a horse with extra legs and gills. Isn't that so creative, guys?
No, I'm pretty sure I've seen that in like 10 animes now.
Look, you're a person, but bluer and with dreads. Isn't that so amazing?
Glow. Again, I've seen this in animes.
And there's also been a lot of people are more openly calling out the cultural appropriation within like the Na'vi cultural touchstones, where it's basically a patina of ethnic. Like it's just like it's really that right now. I'm just calling it out when I see it.
Exotic. Ethnic.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a lot of mixing of, instead of being very purposeful and like, I like this area of the world and the indigenous traditions here are very interesting. It's essentially like, I took all the things that Westerners and media would all label indigenous. Look, they have earplugs and beaded shawls, but also animal skins and spears. And it's just, it's face paint. But what kind of face paint? What kind of face paint are we doing, Cameron? because like
Okay.
you're stealing from 3 different continents already.
I'm thinking that little buddy's infatuation with K-pop demon hunters is serving us better than Avatar did.
Yes. I'm just calling out because in certain circles we have been talking about it. And it's like, yeah, he's super guilty of that. Anyway, I'm sorry for that tangent.
No. All right.
James Cameron should stick to the Titanic.
Titanic 2.
Honestly, he has the money to do it again. Like he should just sink that whole boat all over
Let's
again.
just do Douglas Adams' Starship Titanic. That's a game we should cover.
Oh.
Text-based adventure games. Yeah. Let's do it.
The engagement is just going to sink so fast, Mystic. Yeah, do people click in here and be like, what is this? And just like out.
Hey, they watched you type for Dead Letter Department. It's only one step below that in engagement.
Oh. That's just that you just make me sad, Mystic. You just made me so sad.
Either way. Thank you all for listening.
Thanks so much for listening so quickly.
We'll probably be done with Mass Effect 2 by the time most people hear this.
So the middle,
or at least we'll have just one episode left.
Yeah. So the middle stream will be starting soon on our alternate Thursdays, but the Thursday after this airs to the public would have been our stream date, but Thanksgiving. So it's going to be the Friday after. And don't forget that we do on every other Tuesday the cozy live stream for The Sims 4. So for as long as I can stay up from 8:30 on, we are playing with Laura and Liberty and their cat and just getting into shenanigans. And they're just adorable shenanigans, and they're less complicated than they were when they had their roommates, because roommates are tough, man. All right.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks so much for listening, everybody. We'll catch you next time.
Bye.
Bye.